Hello everyone, welcome back once again to yet another movie review on my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 2020 Apple TV film, Greyhound. So Greyhound is a World War II film directed by Aaron Schneider and is written by and stars Tom Hanks. The movie follows a Navy captain who is trying to get him and the rest of his ships through the Atlantic Ocean while they are being attacked by German subs. As you may guess by hearing that description, this movie has a lot of action to it. In fact, it is almost constant action throughout. It is very fast-paced, especially in the first act of the film. There's constant action after constant action, and even though it is spread out over, I think it's a 2-day span, they cut all the time in between, so it's just battle after battle after battle. Some people may enjoy this, but I actually think that this is a negative. Because there are so many battles, the movie becomes very fast-paced and it's almost difficult to keep up with it. The movie itself is only 94 minutes long, and almost all of this is filled with this action, which is very problematic. There's almost no time in the movie dedicated to character growth, and it really shows throughout. Tom Hanks' character is the only one that really is given any characteristics, but all that's really given is he has a fiance back home and the fact that he's religious. These are the only two character traits that he's given, but besides that, he's just your typical Navy captain. This is interesting to me because the movie is so short that they could have easily added in extra scenes to build his character and the characters around them. I think that the best way they could have done that would be to add maybe like a 5-minute, if that, scene at the end of every battle instead of just skipping from battle to battle. This really would have helped with your character growth and really made the characters stand out more. Tom Hanks does do a decent job in this film. He's obviously a very good actor. However, because he's not really given much to work with the script that he wrote himself, he doesn't really stand out in his role. Like I said, this movie does have a lot of sea battles, which you would think would get very repetitive. While it does get slightly repetitive as it's essentially the same thing over and over again, I think they do a good job of making each battle different enough so that it's still tolerable to watch. For example, the first scene is very suspenseful. You don't really see the U-bombers throughout this scene, so it makes for a very suspenseful scene. In all of the battles after this, they each have their own little element that's different to the previous one, which I think is good at making this still an interesting movie to watch. Because this movie is still fairly new, I'm doing a spoiler-free review here, so I don't want to give too much away, but there is one character death that they try to play off as a very emotional moment, but it doesn't land at all because, like I mentioned before, there isn't really much character development and the relationships between characters don't really work either. The relationships that Tom Hanks does try to build in his screenplay don't really work because the two characters in said relationship aren't really on screen together for a whole lot before the death, so it doesn't really work. Overall, the emotional moments that this movie tries to have with its characters don't work for me because, like I said before, the characters are too shallow and their relationships aren't built up enough for me to actually care about them. Cinematography in this film, as you may expect, isn't anything too special. There was one shot that was pretty cool where they followed Tom Hanks through the ship, but it was only like a 20-second shot, so it wasn't anything too impressive. There were also some bird's eye view shots during some of the battles that I liked. We don't get a whole lot of them. I did notice only a couple times they were used. I would have liked to see them use that angle more, I think. This would have helped to give a much better insight into how large of a scale these battles actually were. This kind of goes alongside with the emotional moments failing, but I think that the moments where they tried to build tension through making Tom Hanks' character choose between two options weren't really good either. For example, there's a moment about halfway through the film where Tom Hanks has to choose between saving a couple of the soldiers from a blown up ship or going to help his ship that is currently under attack. They play this off as a very tough choice for him, but in the end, his choice didn't really matter, I don't think. It seems like no matter what he did, the same outcome would have happened anyways. In my opinion, this is a moment they tried to build for suspense, but it just didn't land for me. Final thing I have to say here is that this isn't a movie for everyone. I did kind of enjoy this movie. It was an interesting watch at first view, but I think it's not really one that's going to stick with me anytime later in the future. War movies aren't really my type of movie. I'm more into movies like Baby Driver, Joker, just those type of movies. War isn't really my thing, but I think if you are into war movies, if you're a history buff, I think you will enjoy this movie. It's probably still not really worth a rewatch, but I think that it's good, historically accurate, and does a good job of doing the battle sections of war that someone who does like war films will enjoy this movie. That being said, we're going to move on to the ratings here. I'm going to give this movie a solid 7 out of 10 for entertainment. I did like this movie on first viewing, as I said, but it's just not really something that's going to stick and resonate with me. For quality of film, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10, mostly because of the lack of character development, giving it an overall rating of 6.5 out of 10. Anyways, that's all I have to say for you guys today, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like down below and comment any movie suggestions you have for the future. If you want more updates on videos, check out my Instagram, ntd_films. Thank you guys all for watching, and have a good day.